Welcome, everybody. Oh. If you guys can just type in the chat box to make sure you can hear me and you can see me, I'm so excited to be with you all today. Here on the screen, who you're seeing right now with us is my sister, Drin Elliott. Drin is here holding down on the keys for us today, and I'm so excited and so honored to see all of you here together today at the Kingdom. I would love for you to type in the chat box where you're from, where you are coming in from, and today, one thing that you have to be grateful for today. One thing that you have to be grateful for so we can see everything coming in. And Drin's gonna be here with us playing and being soulful and bringing in and weaving in the music with us the entire time. And it is such an honor and a privilege to be with you guys. So Drin, I'm gonna minimize your little window and we are gonna having you keep joining us with the music. Everybody, I see you. Carol, Shelly, oh my God, Devin, Laura. All right, one thing you're grateful for today, you guys, and where you're coming in from. One thing you're grateful for and where you're coming in from. Grateful for you are, grateful for my tech, grateful for friends and family. Beautiful. So welcome to the Kingdom. Welcome to this incredible time that we all have to come together. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure that we had when I felt inspired to start this day for us, it's been blooming and blossoming up in me for so long, is I felt that we needed a space for all of us to come together. A space for all of us to have our moment to praise and to celebrate and to count our blessings and to have gratitude and to have glory and to have all of those things regardless of our religions, regardless of what we believe in, regardless of who we love, where we live, what we have in our bank accounts, and what's going on in our lives. And so today is a day of celebration because this is the first Kingdom. And I'm so happy to have all of you guys here today. I can't believe there's 106 people here right now. This is so awesome. And also today is a day of learning and a day of growth and a day of transformation. And what I want to tell you in this first session right now is that this is not religious. I want to be super clear on that. I know you guys heard me say it's like church and Super Soul Sunday and a TED Talk having a baby. This is not religious. This is a space for all of us to come together. A space that is not conflicting with any of your religious or spiritual beliefs, but a supplement to those things, because we are more powerful when we come together. And this is a space, this is a really important part, I think, for so many of us here, that welcomes all parts of you, not just tolerates the parts of you, not just ignores and pretends they don't exist, but welcomes all parts of you. You know, I know so many of us, we've evolved, like we grew up with certain religions and now we have different beliefs that are evolving and curiosities, and some of us are still go to church and Christian but we like crystals or tarot and astrology and we have to hide those things. whatever the case may be for you, this space is a space that welcomes all parts of you. And most importantly, this is a space to praise, a space to give thanks, a space to learn, and a space to connect. Because no matter who we believe in or what we believe in, and you guys might hear me use different words throughout our times together over the weeks. Sometimes you'll hear me say God, sometimes you'll hear me say the universe, sometimes you'll hear me say spirit, sometimes you'll hear me talk about science. And I just saw Colleen said Nelson Mandela's birthday was yesterday. That's amazing. President of your country, fantastic. And so there's so many of us coming together. And so whether you hear me say God or he or the universe or this or that, welcome whatever it is that you call it. There was a joke in the promo video where I said, even if it's unicorns, you could welcome in the unicorns. I don't care what it is, but whatever it is, give it thanks for bringing you here, for bringing us here with everything going on in the world today. How much of a privilege and an honor it is for us to be together. And the last thing that I want to say here in our little introduction is that, one of the things that I've always loved about church is the inspiration and the feeling that we get, right, from being in church, and that feeling in our heart, waking up and knowing that there's something greater than us at work. But a thing that, to be honest with you, is always left missing to me at church was taking that inspiration and knowing how to embody it and knowing how to put it into action. Hello, Boston. I see you over there. I'm seeing all of you guys coming in. I just love you so much. Know that I see you. But seeing how to turn this inspiration into action. How do we take the inspiration and take it forward and use it in our lives so that we can change? I know so many of y'all go to church, leave church, and then you're cussing out your kids in the car. We're not doing that here. We're taking the lessons, and I'm going to teach you exactly how to step them into your life. So I'm bringing the slides up on the screen right now, just for a moment, for you guys to be able to see a little bit of what we have going on today. And I just want to talk, and this will evolve as we grow and as we learn together. But this is, somebody is saying to put my speaker louder or the music a little lower. So Drin, can you just a little tiny bit, make your music go down just a little bit? Thank you, Drin. And thank you, Christy, for letting us know. If you guys have any audio issues in there, let us know. And so I want to just say a little bit about what we believe here. And this will evolve as we grow and change as a community. So I just want to make sure everybody can still hear me okay. Yes? Allison said her sound disappeared. I want to make sure you guys can all still hear me. Okay, great. So all beliefs are welcome here. All beliefs are welcome here. And what I mean by that, and I said it earlier, is whether it's God, the universe, science, crystals, astrology, spirituality, whatever it is, bring it here, because this is how we become stronger together. Also, I want to name this, all biologies are welcome here. No matter what your identity is, you're not just looked over and tolerated and glanced upon and pretend like you don't exist. Whatever your identity is, you are welcome here as you are, in the full ownership and full glory of who you are. And my hope is that we'll be together in person at some point when the universe allows that. And when that happens, you can come fully as you are. The other thing is, we believe in the power of music to open our hearts and our minds. One of the things that I actually learned a few weeks ago is that the reason why soul music is actually called soul music is because it was originally created as music to help open up the soul and awaken the soul. And I love that definition. And then when it goes to gospel music, which obviously started in slavery, is when gospel music began because it had hidden messages. But once gospel music started getting used in the church, the reason it was used and they played gospel music before the preacher was going to talk, and no, I'm not a preacher, but before the preacher was going to talk, was for a specific purpose. It wasn't just all this hooping and hollering for nothing. It was getting people out of their bodies, out of their limited beliefs, to prepare their minds and their hearts to receive the gospel. So they were preparing their minds and their hearts through music and art to receive the message. And so we're going to use different kind of music and different art every week to help open up our hearts to receive the message. And then the other thing that we believe is that wisdom can come from many places. And so here I'm going to be weaving in teachings from so many different spaces, from sometimes religious texts and from sometimes non-religious texts, sometimes from science, to help us weave in the world's greatest wisdom to take the lessons that we can learn from it to change our life. And this one is really important. We believe in an expanded definition of self. And we're going to go into that in a couple weeks with one of the lessons, but I want to describe to you what I mean by that right now. I got this little flower with me today. I want to describe to you what I mean by that. One of the limited definitions of self is that the self is only me, this person, inside this skin sack, inside this body. And as long as I empower myself, that's all that matters. But we know that that's not the case. We know that that's not true. We know that each of us as individuals directly affects the collective. We're not living in these little bubbles of self. And we learned this through COVID. Right? No matter where we are, no matter how much money we have in our bank account, no matter where we live, if one of us is not well, then all of us are not well. And this is what I think one of the big lessons we're learning through COVID. And then second to last is we don't just honor or tolerate each other's differences. We are stronger because of those differences. We are actually stronger when we come together in our different beliefs. And throughout our weeks together, you're going to learn ways to talk to people with different beliefs, learn ways to communicate with people with different beliefs, learn ways that we can come together to create the world that we really want. And ultimately, and last but not least, you guys know I say this all the time, we rise together. And so I'd love to start with the poem that I actually wrote for the promo of this that's on the website before we go into our little prayer. And this poem, and I'll try to write one every week or bring in a new one every week, but this one felt super important for our first session. This kingdom is for everyone. Lesbian, gay, trans, bi, young, old, black, white, queer, hippie, broke and fabulous, and straight people too, all are welcome to the magic that happens. This is not about telling you what to believe, but to connect you to something greater, to bring some relief. To the struggles and pain that carry us forward, you can't stop us because we are the warriors. We'll come together, we'll sing and we'll cry, we'll learn and we'll share as we all turn the tides. You'll learn wisdom teachings from the world's greatest lessons and connect to your power and call in your blessings. This isn't about inspiration. This is about action, because only then can we break from this faction. Welcome to the kingdom that shines. We rise together. Together, we rise. We will rise. And so just so you know a little bit about how these sessions are going to work, I'm putting my screen back up again, my shared screen back up again. So just so you know a little bit about how this is going to work, and this will again evolve, this is our first session, is we'll always begin with a poem, prayer, music, which Drin is doing with us today, and song. And then that'll open up our hearts to dive into the teaching. And then we'll follow into a short teaching, a practice, and a power action, an action that you can take every single week to help you embody the teachings and take them into your life. And when we say a practice, we're gonna actually take the teachings, and then some of the practices will be different. Sometimes we'll do a meditation, which is what we'll do today. Sometimes we'll do journaling. Sometimes we'll do different things that will surprise you every week. And I'll have new things and amazing new things to come in every week. And Alton, I love this. Truth is another name for God and the goddess. That's amazing. So let's begin with our prayer. We're going to jump into our prayers. What I like to do when I pray, and you can do whatever feels good to you, is just, I like to place one hand over my heart, actually placed over my heart, and then the other hand on top of that. One of my dear friends, Christy, told me about this, uniting the right and the left sides of the body, the masculine and the feminine, the sun and the moon. And I think Christy is here with us today. And Drin, we can pull the music all the way out for now, for this prayer. God, Spirit, universe, all that is, all that has been, and all that will be, all that ever will be. We call to you and we ask you to guide us and protect us today. We ask that our hearts be opened to the exact message that we are meant to hear and see today. We ask that you open our hearts to hear new things, to learn new things. We ask that you remind us to be grateful. Even amidst all the worry and uncertainty and pain that goes on in our lives, we ask that you remind us to be grateful. We ask that you connect us to one another beyond space and time, and that you protect this growing community from any external harm or shame or judgment that may come toward us as we forge forward with a brand new path here at the kingdom. Let us hear exactly what we were meant to hear today. Let us take away exactly what we are meant to take away today. And may what we learn today land in our hearts in a way that inspires us not just to believe, but to take action for our lives and for the world. I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me, and I know he watches you, and I know he watches us. May you use our words and our voices and everything we share today in the chat and beyond for the benefit of all beings, of all. So it is, Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Om. And most importantly, thank you. Let's begin today's teaching. And I love it. Alonzo said he was singing with me. I hope you were all singing. Oh, it's beautiful. So let's begin today's teaching. So here we go. I'm going to try to keep my Oprah voice at a minimum with today's teaching. So jumping right in, today's teaching is on the power of being. The power of being. And I just want to make sure that you all understand what I'm saying by the power of being. And it's not about the power of doing. It's about being. And we've heard this in so many ways. One of the first quotes that I ever heard about this was from Les Brown. And I love it so much. It says, "You don't get what you want in life. You get what you are." I'm going to try to balance out these screens for a second here. Let's see if you can see. Perfect. You guys can see me and the screen now, right? Perfect. So you don't get what you want in life. You get what you are. And that quote inspired me so much because I thought it was amazing, but a little bit limited. So in my book, actually, Stay Woke, I changed it just a little bit and says, you get what you are, not what you want. Because it's not just in life. It's about every single thing that we do in the world. And we've heard this in many different ways. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can read it. In the Bible, for example, it says, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Same thing. You don't get what you want in life, you get what you are. Oprah, who you guys will be hearing, if y'all been doing my teachings, you know I will quote Oprah over and over, says, "You are responsible for the energy that you are putting out into the world because that very energy, bam, is coming right back to you every single time, whether you believe it or not, because it is law. It is law." Oprah actually calls it Newton's third law. And then this is what my grandma said, and I think everybody's grandma says this, is you get back what you put out in life. That's simple, right? You get back what you put out in life. Excuse me as I take a sip of water. And so you have to remember, as I'm talking about this, okay, that a lot of people, when I say that, think that it's about doing. And this is where the people get confused about the Bible. Do unto others, obviously it says, but it's a little bit different. It's not necessarily about what you do, but it's about who you are being that's giving rise to all of the doing. And this is about the internal work that we all must do to make the outside world, the external world, show up differently. I want you to hear me when I'm saying that. This is about the internal work that we all must do to make the outside show up differently. Somebody was saying that they're having trouble here. If you're having any trouble, just close out and log back in, and it should work totally fine. I'm adjusting the clip size and stuff here, so that might be what's happening. But if you're having any trouble, usually the solution is log out, log back in, and it should work fine, okay? And I'm adjusting the size of what you're seeing here right now, okay? So hopefully everything's working for you guys, okay? And there will be a recording, but hopefully you can be here for this all live. So anyway, back into what we're talking about. The internal work that we all must do to make the outside world show up differently. And we've all seen this in our lives. I'm just gonna give like a blank ass example, like a really clear example that we all know. How many of you guys have been in a relationship with somebody, got out of that relationship, broke up with the person because you knew the relationship wasn't right for you, spent some time, got in a new relationship, and then a few months later, realized you in the same damn relationship, but with a different person, right? So we end up in the same relationship over and over and over. And that's because we have not changed at the level of being to show up for a relationship, regardless of who it's with, in a different way. And so this applies in all different ways of our lives. So when you're looking for a relationship, you can move to a different city, you can move to a different state, you can look on Tinder, you can look on Grindr, you can look here, you could try to meet people in person, you can meet people through friends. If you haven't changed at the level of being, then you're just gonna end up in the same relationship over and over and over and over again until you do the internal work that changes you at the level of being. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So oftentimes people are asking, what defines our level of being? How do we know who we are being and what we are being? And what I want to say, and this is super important, and a lot of people don't want to go to therapy. A lot of people think they're fine, don't want to look into their old past or their wounds because it's too hard to face. And I just want to honor everybody because I understand how hard it is sometimes to look at the traumas and the things that have happened in our lives. But the thing is our old programming, and this is what it says on the screen right now. I'm going to make this nice and big for you guys. Our old programming often originates from trauma in our early life. And although those traumas and situations are usually non-existent in our current reality, we've internalized the hateful voices. We've internalized the stories and learned to rerun an outdated script that was never ours to begin with. This is one of my favorite quotes that I think gets overlooked from my book, Stay Woke. And so what I'm saying here is the old programming that you had before is what is informing who you are being, which is then informing what you are doing. But today, my goal with you guys today is we are going to update the program. We are updating the program. We are going, Dren, we are going from a Windows 95 to a MacBook Pro. We are going from Mac High Sierra to Mac El Capitan. We are going from OS X, Mac OS X, to Mac OS Jesus. I'm totally playing me preacher Miguel. Thank you, Dren. But real talk, we are updating the program. And you have to be able to upgrade your operating system, upgrade your software, upgrade what you're operating at so you can change what you're doing. You can use new programs, you can use new apps, you can use new software, and you can do more things, do different things, or even change the way you were doing things in the past so that the result of those things, the result of the doing, shows up differently based upon who you are being. I see you, Alton. Hallelujah. And so this is really what it is at the level of being. And I will say, I see Diana said, healing our childhood trauma. That is absolutely a part of it. It's a huge part of it, going into the shadow. And I have a feeling that's what we're going to be getting into in next week's lesson, next Sunday. But what I want to focus on today is before you could even choose how to heal your trauma, before you could even choose what to use, what to do, you need to be operating from a different level of being, because you could end up healing your trauma in cycles and cycles and cycles and never actually changing, but just in this constant loop of trauma. So we have to be able to come to a level of being where we're changing where we're even coming from in the first place. And that is what I want to talk about today. This is the upgrade that we're having today. And I know this story well, because it's so funny seeing it side by side. This is little Justin. Okay, this is little me. Do I look the same? And, you know, many of you who've followed my work or followed my lessons and teachings at any point have heard and know that I grew up in a home with domestic violence. Okay, and pretty severe, domestic violence. And I'll say this right up the top. My mom is here right now. I think my dad is tuning in. My family has done so much healing and we have so much love to the point where I'm even open and able to share these stories in this way. But the way that I grew up was literally seeing I remember two very vivid memories. One of my mom getting slapped in the head with the remote control by my stepfather. And I was too young to do anything about it. And then my dad, so that's my stepdad and my mom. And then on the other side, on my dad, they were divorced. My dad being physically abusive because of his own demons, which he's grown beyond, to his wives. One moment in particular, punching my stepmom in the face at the swimming pool in front of everyone and dragging her. And seeing this as a little kid. And I'm telling you this, not to make you sad today, but to tell you that this trauma that I dealt with as a kid, and I know many of you dealt with similar traumas growing up yourselves, informed so many things about who I was being and what I believed as an adult. And I can talk on and on about those different things, but the one I want to talk in particular about today for this lesson and this teaching about the power of being is the belief that I had that said, I'm afraid of powerful men. I became afraid of strong men. And this affected so many areas of my life. It affected my relationships and who I was dating because of the simple fact that I was afraid. Like the truth is, and this is how you know it ain't church, because we're talking about gay love here, but I have always been mostly attracted to men who are more assertive, more powerful, a little bit stronger than me. Not just physically, but energetically stronger than me, because I have a strong personality. And I've always been attracted to that. But I never let myself date a man who was stronger than me, or oftentimes didn't, because if I was alone with that man in my house and he was angry and he was upset, what would I do? Because of the toxic masculinity and anger that I saw as a child, I was afraid to stand up for myself. I was afraid to speak my voice when I saw things that were wrong. And so oftentimes I'd end up in one of two situations in my relationship. And I know you guys probably got the two situations that you have on yourself, is number one, and it feels so good to be vulnerable with you guys in this way. But number one situation was I would often date guys who were timid and small and smaller than me, so I didn't have to be in a place with them to be afraid. That I knew that no matter what, I wasn't that afraid. But then what would happen is I wasn't that attracted to them, so I'd end up in this relationship where I didn't feel the passion, and I'd always have one foot in the door and one foot out, because I was afraid to go all the way in and love a man, because the men that I loved as a child were so violent. So that's one situation, repeating and repeating, all coming from this level of being that says, I'm not someone who can stand up for myself. I'm not someone who can get angry. I'm not someone who's strong enough to do that. And then the other option was some other times I would end up with stronger or strong, powerful men. And it would end up disappearing this quick, because in the presence of that strength, I would shrink and I would get small. And I wouldn't actually show up in the fullness of who I am, because deep down, that child in me that was running the show was afraid. And so you guys see how this works. And so it didn't matter if I went on whatever app, it didn't matter who I met, what I did, how I met them. I was stuck in this cycle because my level of being had not changed from someone who was afraid to stand up for themselves, who was afraid to share their voice, into someone who was able to stand for what they believed in. And even as you guys have seen me learn and grow and share my voice around social justice and activism and all this kind of stuff, that has all been a result of me changing at my level of being. Okay, and I'm sure now you are thinking of different things in your own life, different ways that you get stuck in these different traps. And I love this. Brenda said the merry-go-round, that we get stuck in these traps. We do all this work on ourselves, all this personal growth, all this podcast, all the reading, all the church, all the this, all the that. Here's the thing, y'all. If you don't change at the level of being, it's like watering a garden full of weeds and expecting roses to bloom. That's all you're doing, is watering a garden full of weeds and expecting roses to bloom. And so what we do when we change at the level of being is we take out those weeds and make space for new growth, for roses, for flowers in the gardens of our lives. And so I'm gonna make this big for you, just to give you some examples if you're having trouble seeing how this shows up for you. So On an individual level, this shows up, for example, and this shows up in so many ways, but these are just some examples. In our finances, we can get a new job, make more money, get a raise, but somehow after a few months, we end up back in the same financial position, the same feeling of lack or whatever, not growing because we end up spending more, doing whatever. And that's because we haven't changed at the level of being to even know how to welcome in this new abundance. We see this with our bodies. We go to the gym, we get trainers, we do diets, we buy workout plans, we use Tabata, we use all the different apps and programs. And somehow, even though we see a change for a short period of time, you can end up, if you haven't changed at the level of being, back in the same spot right where you started or worse. And that's because all you did was change what you were doing, but didn't change at the level of worth and being to know that you are worthy of having this new healthy body. And it also shows up in our emotions. This happened to me. I'm currently right now streaming to you guys from Esalen. I don't know if you guys can see the sign here. Esalen, it's Esalen. I'm typing it in here. This is a place that I hope to bring you all very soon. It's a retreat center in Big Sur, California, one of my favorite places. And we can go on vacation. We can go to a new city. We can go to the most beautiful place we've ever seen in the world. But then when we show up, if we haven't changed at the level of being, we show up with all the same anxiety and stress and everything that we had before. Okay? And I love that. We will be together here, you guys. I promise we'll be together here. I wish you could see the ocean that I'm looking at. I'll post some pictures soon on social media. And so this also shows up in the collective, which you guys have heard me say online. We can defund the police. We can elect a new president. We can tear down the whole freaking system, which I think we should do. But if we don't change at the level of being, we'll just end up rebuilding the same thing over and over if we haven't done the internal work to take out the weeds and grow in the garden of our lives. And I saw somebody already put this quote. You saw it coming. This is one of my favorite quotes from my friend John Kabat-Zinn, who's become a really good soul brother of mine. It's the title of his book. And it's "Wherever you go, there you are." Wherever you go, there you are. And so the question becomes, who are you being? Who are you being? And that's it, you know? And so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna invite you all into a little practice that will allow us to change at the level of being. And in every lesson, we'll have a practice. And today's practice in particular is going to be a guided meditation. And of course I had to start with meditation because you guys know that meditation is like my jam. But like I said, it's not always going to be meditation. I'll be bringing in a lot of different things, sometimes journaling, sometimes reflection, sometimes different practices, sometimes embodiment. We might have Christy on here to help us bring it into the body. And before we do today's meditation practice, for those of you who haven't meditated before, I want you to know that you don't have to worry. I'm guiding you through the whole thing. And if you're somebody who thinks you can't meditate, listen to me. If you can worry, you can meditate, okay? Because worrying and meditation are pretty much the same thing. It's returning to something in your head over and over. But with worrying, we go to the fear. With meditation, we go to power. And I want to just give you guys some context on the way that I view meditation. And Drin, you're getting, I don't know if you can see them, but you're getting so many beautiful comments in here about the music, about how perfect it is. So Drin, I just want to thank you for being here. You guys will see her back on the screen soon. And one of the things that I look at meditation as, and why this fits in here so perfectly, is because what I believe is that prayer is when you're speaking to your source of higher power. And meditation is when you're listening to the messages coming back to you. Prayer is when you're speaking to God, and meditation is when you're listening to God's wisdom come back to you. And so we are going to dive into just a little practice together now. And before we do this practice, I want to show you guys something. There's going to be a moment in the practice where I invite you to do something with your body, very simply. And everything that I say is just an invitation. I don't have any control or dominion over your body. So as I do these things, know that they're invitation. Do what feels right to you. But there's going to be a moment when I say, okay, imagine you lift your arms up and you're showering yourself with this new energy. And when you do that, what I'll invite you to do is you'll inhale and reach your arms up and exhale and just imagine that you're showering yourself and bathing yourself in the energy that comes up. So you can try it with me now if you're sitting there, inhaling the arms up. You can close your eyes and exhale, shower down. And if you want to change your arm movement or do it a little differently, that's fine. But I just wanted to show you guys an example so you don't feel confused when we're doing it in the practice. All right? So let's dive in to our meditation. I'm going to turn my video off so you guys can go internal and just enjoy the power of this practice. I'd like you to start by placing your hands over your heart just like we started, one on top of the other. And Drin will have the music just super nice and slow without a lot of movement so people can dive deeply into their inner space. But please keep it going through this practice. And on the count of 3, I want you to exhale everything out of your system through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Exhale everything out of the system through the nose and come to completely empty. And now to my count of 4, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Deeply hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time, all together, deeper this time. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Now just release and breathe normally. You can keep your hands over your hearts if that feels good to you. And now I invite you from your heart to think of an area of your life where you feel like you want to grow, where you feel like you want to pluck out those weeds and make space in the garden of your life. And I know there might be many areas of your life where you feel like you want to grow and expand, but for now, just pick one. Either the one that's the easiest or the one that would make the biggest difference. And now, keeping this area in mind, I want you to now just say a prayer with me. It's God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that has been, all that will be. Guide our minds and our hearts in this practice. Guide us to know exactly what we need to become, to step into the lives that we know we were born to live. Put down our perfectionism, put down our overthinking, put down our obsessive thoughts, and give us the light of wisdom. Shower us with the light of wisdom that will help us change. at the level of being. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Satnam, Om. Thank you. And now, keeping your eyes closed as we dive into the practice, I'm going to invite you to imagine something with me. And as you imagine, I want you to know and remember that you might be somebody who imagines by seeing images in your head, or you might be somebody who imagines with sound, or with smell, or with taste, or with physical sensation, or with an emotional change, or a combination of all of the above. So if you only see fuzzy images or you're not getting things clear, you're not doing it wrong. Trust whatever arises is exactly what you're meant to see at this time. So what I'd like you to do right now, in this moment, right here, right now, is to imagine a future version of yourself who is living the life of your dreams as it pertains to this area of life that you want to change the most. So in the beginning, I said, what area of life do you want to make space in your garden for? So I want you to imagine now a version of you in the future who has made that space, who has got the new growth, who is in this area of your life, living the life of your dreams. And if it seems impossible, good, because we want to decondition our minds from thinking in lack and limitation and move into a space of possibility. And so as you imagine this future you, notice, what are you wearing? Even if it's unclear, clear, or incomplete. Notice, are you indoor or are you outdoor in this vision? Notice, is there anyone there with you in the vision? And notice what you look like and what your energy is like in this vision. Do you hear anything? Do you taste anything? Do you smell anything that will make this vision more real? Scan around you now in the vision to take in as many sights and colors and sounds and sensations, even if they're incomplete, as you can, to fill in this vision to the point that it makes you smile. Focusing now not on what you're not seeing, but focusing on what you are seeing, knowing that it's exactly what you're meant to see in this moment. And now, with this vision in mind, I'm going to ask you a question. As you imagine this future version of you who's living the life of your dreams, what energy do you need to cultivate more of in your life now, today, to become closer to being that person you see in your vision? Just think of 1, 2, or 3 words. I'll ask it again. What energy do you need to cultivate in your life now to become that person that you see in your vision? What energy? And now I want you to repeat those words in your mind in the rhythm of your breath. Imagining on each inhale, you are filling yourself up with the light of that energy, maybe even imagining a color or a texture. And on each exhale, you're sending that energy out to the world, to anyone who needs it. Inhaling, imagining that energy bathing and soothing you, becoming it, and exhaling, offering it out to the world. Do a few more rounds on your own, and this time, weave your arms and your hands into the equation. Inhaling, the arms go up, and exhaling as you shower yourself with this new state of being, with this updated program. This is your installation. This is your moment. This is the time that you claim this energy for you. Who do you need to become to step into this vision? Go ahead and take one more breath in. Arms up. Exhale, showering yourself with that energy. And when you feel ready, I invite you to open your eyes. This is the work. This is a part of the work. I don't know if anybody's feeling really emotional right now, but I know I am. And I want you to just feel it. Whatever it is that you're feeling, uncertainty, unsure, grief, love, sorrow, pain, joy, whatever it is, that's the old programming getting its way out. I like to sometimes sweep the old programming off of me. And the new software, the new program downloading in. And I want you to notice, we have just a few minutes left here. That's right, Tim. I want you to notice how powerful what we just did was. I asked you to look at who you are now, and then to look at who it is that you want to become. And then we said, what is the gap? We said, there's a gap. Here's the future you, and here is the current you. And what's differentiating you is who you are being. Remember, you get what you are, not what you want. And so the question that I asked you in that practice is, who do you need to become? Notice I didn't ask, what do you need to do? What workout do you need to do? What thing do you need to do? I said, who do you need to be on an energetic level? And you named that yourself. And I would love to see some words in the chat box for those of you who are willing to share. What words came up for you? Who do you need to be? I want you right now in the chat box to name it and to claim it. If we were in person right now, I'd have us turning to different people and naming and claiming our energies. So what do you need to be? Carrie says, optimistic, open, and loving. Jessica says, powerful, carefree, and brave. Keegan says, vulnerable. David says, 100% responsible. Allison says, courage and confidence. Ceza says, joy. Ooh, here they come. Maggie says, radiant, ease, and go-getter. Susan says, more loving. Oh, I'm trying to get them all. Oh, so many things coming through. You guys can read them. You guys can read them. Confident, persistent, patient. And so this leads me perfectly into our next section, which is about your power action, which we'll have every single week. And your power action is an action that you will take this week, that you will commit to taking this week, to help take you forward in the direction of who it is that you want to become. Okay? And this is the action that I'm going to invite you into. And I want to actually say one thing. I'm saying commitment. I love this. Not being judgmental. That's perfect. Hey, I'm going to say something. Cosmolinda, instead of saying not judgmental, see if you can, instead of saying what you don't want to be in your vision, say what you do want to be. So instead of, I won't be sad or I won't be judgmental, that's saying what you don't want to be. I want to know what you are, what you do want to be. So what's the opposite of that? So maybe not judgmental is, I am loving and open and kind, right? So this is a little micro adjustment because we spend so much time in our lives saying what we don't want, right? I don't want a man that look like this. I don't want somebody who does that. I don't want somebody who does this. I know that I don't want to live here. I know that I don't want to live there. I know that I don't want this job. What do you want? If you don't tell the universe what you do want, how's it going to know how to bring it to you? So that was just a loving, beautiful. Cosmolinda says open. Just a little adjustment for all of us. So here's your power action, okay? Beautiful, Cosmolinda. Thank you. It was said with love, and thank you for saying that because it helped everyone. So here's the power action. Every day this week, I'm going to invite you when you wake up in the morning for your first 5 breaths. I like to keep these power actions simple. First 5 breaths in the morning to infuse and install that programming. First 5 breaths, as soon as you can remember, wake up as soon as you're conscious, even if you're half asleep. First 5 breaths is inhaling. You can use your arms if you want, or just be still in the bed with your hands over your heart. Inhaling openness, exhaling, and sending that openness out to everyone who needs it. And this is what the Bible verse really means, do unto others. Because as you send that openness out to everyone who needs it, as you send that confidence out to everyone who needs it, then that energy circulates back at you. This is what Oprah meant by bam, it doesn't matter, the energy is coming back to you. This is what it means, that you get what you are, not what you want. So every morning, I like to keep these actions simple. Install your operating system. Because every day when you wake up, it's going to be tempting and your system's going to want to go back to that old programming. We're not going back to the old programming. And here's the thing, the reason why I say commit and not promise is because you're going to mess up. You're going to forget on a day or two. You're going to fall into the old habits. That's part of the alignment. That's part of pulling us back to center. The key is to just be compassionate with yourself. And when you catch yourself being judgmental, Cosmolinda, when you catch yourself being stressed or not at peace, Anna, when you catch yourself in the other state, you have a practice to install and upgrade the system. Anybody who knows me knows they'll see me. You'll see me walking around and I will just close my eyes and pause, and I'm repeating mantras or repeating words in my head to bring myself back to center. So if you catch yourself in a moment in your day when you're off, come to your power action. 5 breaths. Install the operating system. Pause. Get still for just a moment. And then act from there. And I want to hear next week and throughout the week how this is working in your lives. Do the absolute best you can. So anyone who's committed to that, I want to see you in the chat box typing, I commit. I see Dion started it, I commit, and then we'll do that. And now finally, we're going to do 2 last things before we close. Okay? The first thing, which we're going to prepare for, is I'm going to invite you guys to think of a golden nugget. Yes, I love the commitments coming in. I love it. I'm going to invite you into a golden nugget practice, which we're going to do. It's going to take 2 minutes. And then we're going to close with a song. And what I would love to do is to invite 2 people up onto the screen. I can invite you onto the screen for all of us to shower you with the blessings of this song. And we have to remember that beyond our definition of self, as we are showering someone else with the blessings of the song, the energy is also circulating back to us. So as we give, we activate the law of receiving. And so this is what I want to do. This is the important part, and I don't want you to be shy. Anybody who feels like they're having a really hard time in their life upgrading their operating system or changing at the level of being, you feel like you really could use our collective energy coming at you, I want you to type in call on me in the chat box, and then I'm going to invite you up to the screen. You'll get a little thing that asks you to turn on your camera and your audio, and I'm going to invite you up to the screen. So just type in call on me and I'll invite you up in just a second. And there's no pressure or stress, but if you have that feeling in your heart that's asking you to come up, you don't even have to say anything. We just want to see your face, to see our community, to send you love. Type in call on me and I'll bring you up. And in the meantime, as we're waiting for somebody to do that, at the end of every session, we'll have what's called a power nugget. Lay, I see you. I'll be calling on you. Lay, I'm going to invite you up now. And I want you to just, when you come in, just be silent. have yourself on mute and make sure you say yes, yes, yes to your camera. And oh, I see. Okay, so Lay and Colleen are first. Okay, so we'll go that way. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys, that there's so many of you. I wish I could see all of you. So, Lay, I'm inviting you in. And when you come on, we'll just be silent. Lay's coming on. Hello, Lay.
Hi.
Hi, love. And then we have Kathleen, who I'm inviting on. This is beautiful. And Kathleen, you'll just have to accept everything. So, Lay, I'm going to mute you just for a moment so we make sure we have good sound, and I'll unmute you in a second. And Kathleen. Colleen. I think I invited the wrong person. Here we go. Colleen. Let's see. All right. I think we got it. So here's what we're going to do before we go into our final section. Thank you for bearing with me. It's the first time I'm doing this with you guys. Place your hands over your heart for just a moment. Take a deep breath in. A deep breath out. And I want you to think of one golden nugget. Here we call it a power nugget. One thing, if you could remember one thing from this whole session today, whether it's a phrase or a word or a teaching or something you want to take with you, think about it now. It takes about 30 seconds to commit something into your long-term memory. I learned this from my friend and dear friend and colleague, Shauna Shapiro. So for 30 seconds, just think of that thing. What is it that you want to make sure you take with you? Commit it to your long-term memory. This is why so many times we go to church and we leave and we don't even remember what the preacher said, because we don't take this moment to really commit it in. What is the one thing you want to take away? This is your power nugget. And then go ahead and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out and open your eyes. And I invite you guys now, all of you, to type in your power nuggets. So we have a cascade of them in the chat box so that we can have all these golden nuggets to take with us. And Drin, I'm going to invite you to just pause on the music for right now. Thank you. Everybody, if you can, I'm going to bring Drin up on the screen for a second too. If you guys can just give some love to Drin, who has been here playing for us and with us this whole time. We love Drin. I've been playing and loving with Drin for so long. So Drin, we love you and we thank you. I'm going to pause you for just a moment as we go into this little story and then the I'm Enough, and then you'll play us out at the end again. Okay. So I'm going to start with you, Lay. Just if you'd like, and you can just say that you'll pass if you'd like. I just want you to share with us, just 60 seconds, very short. What is it that you're having trouble with, and how can we support you energetically right now? And don't be afraid to be vulnerable. We're here supporting you fully.
It would be having more confidence in myself and my skills.
What skills in particular are you trying to bring forward into the world, Lay? Is it Lee or Lay?
Lee.
Lee. Okay, perfect. Great.
It's in photography.
Beautiful. And so you want us to shower you with the gift of confidence of knowing you are enough to step into your photography. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, Lee. Thank you. And Colleen, I'm unmuting you here. I'm trying to, at least. Try talking, Colleen. Colleen's connection just dropped. We'll see when she comes back. Colleen, I'm going to invite you right back in, and we're sending you love. I'm just going to send one more invitation back into Colleen. I think we totally lost her. Here she is. All right, so Colleen's coming back. So we are sending Lee love and energy for her photography. And we were sending Colleen something soon, which we'll know what it is in just a moment. Well, Colleen's coming in. Hey, Lee, where are you from? Where are you chiming in from today?
I am coming from California, a small town in Walnut. It's like on the outskirts of downtown LA.
Cool. Perfect. I
Yeah.
know Walnut. Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Beautiful. Welcome. And it says that Colleen is accepting and connecting. So we'll see what happens here with Colleen. And if she doesn't come on in a moment, we will sing to you, Lee, and to everyone else. Playing a little guitar. All right. So I don't know if Colleen's coming in or not, but we're going to just continue on. And if Colleen pops in, we'll talk to her in a little while. Colleen, if you come in, I invite you to mute your microphone, okay? So for our last moment together, I'm going to play you guys a little song. And this song, many of you know and have heard me sing. It's online on Spotify and all the things. It's called I Am Enough. And the reason why I wanted to call two people in, and we'll do this every time, even if it's not me singing, is because we are going to shower these blessings on all of us. And so as we sing this final song together, I invite everybody to close their eyes one last time. Hands over the heart, dropping into the sacred space that we all know and love. And I want you to call forth a child version of yourself, a younger version of yourself, the version of you, that younger you who received this original programming. We did earlier, we looked forward and saw our future self, but now go back and see this child self. And right now, we're going to tell this childhood version of you who received this program, I got you. I love you. I am not giving up on you. I am you. And join me as we upgrade this programming together. And so this song is called I Am Enough. And different weeks, some weeks I'll sing to you, sometimes we'll have a guest. And we're going to sing this song to that child inside of each of us who just wants to know that they are enough. The chorus is, I am enough, I am golden, baby, yeah. So feel free to sing along with me. Little boy, don't cry. You've been in pain. Hey, Colleen. Enough. No. Little girl, don't hide. You're finally safe. Enough. One day I'll look into your eyes, show you don't need to hide behind disguise. No. Spread your wings, you're terrified. Don't be afraid, you're born to fly. I'm by your side, yeah. I am enough. I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. Oh, I am golden, baby, yeah. I am enough. I am enough. Oh. Enough. You are enough. Oh. Enough. I am enough. Oh. Little girl, it's alright. You've taken the blame. Enough. We lost Colleen again. Little boy, don't hide. You've been ashamed enough. One day I'll look into your eyes, show you you don't need to hide behind disguise. No, spread your wings, you're terrified. Don't be afraid, you're born to fly. I'm by your side. Yeah. I am enough. I am golden, baby. Yeah. I am enough. Feel free to sing along. I am enough if you want to. I am enough. I am golden, baby. Yeah. I am enough. I am enough. Oh. Ooh, ooh. I am enough. You are enough. Oh. Ooh. Enough. I am enough. Oh. I am enough. I am golden, baby. Yeah. I am enough. I am enough. You are enough. You are golden, baby. Yeah. You are enough. I'm talking to you. You are enough. Lee and everybody. You are enough. Sing it to Lee, everybody. You are golden, baby. Yeah. You are enough. Know when you sing it to her, it comes right back to you. Hey, one more time. You are enough. Oh, you are golden, baby. Yeah. You are enough. Last time. We're gonna go till we are enough. We are enough. We are golden, baby. Yeah. We are enough. This is our moment. We are enough. I hope you feel it, Lee. We are enough. We are golden, baby. Yeah. We are enough. We are enough. Oh, we are enough. We are golden, baby. Yeah. We are enough. This is our moment. We are enough. This is our time. We are enough. We are golden, baby. Yeah. We are enough. We are enough. Oh. Ooh, ooh. We are enough. We are enough. Ooh. I am enough. You are enough. We are enough. You are enough. You are golden, baby. All of you. Thank you, Lee, for being with us. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing with us. And thank you to all of you, for being here with us. Thank you, Drin, for being here with us. Thank you. I'm putting your video back on, Drin, so people can see your magical face. And welcome to the kingdom. We're doing this, you guys. We are doing this. And you are enough. You are worthy. And my golden nugget today, as we close out, this is my power nugget, that as I was thinking about this and teaching this, is about the power of being. And once you have changed at the level of being, then the outcome of everything you do changes. The revolution starts inside. And this is exactly what we need in the world today, is all of us stepping into our power and stepping in fully to a new way of being, so that we, together, can wake up the world. So I love you, I thank you, I honor you. And in closing, our last prayer as we leave, closing blessing, is may you be happy. May you be free. May you always find peace. And may you always remember to say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God, for this life. Thank you, God, for this moment. Thank you, universe, for this moment. Thank you, Spirit, for incarnating me right here at this time, knowing that I am exactly who was meant to be alive in this moment. Thank you for helping me overcome. Thank you for helping me find peace. Thank you to all that is and all that ever will be, and all the ancestors and all that has gone before us. We say thank you. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Sat Nam, Om. Thank you. I'll see you all next week. Same time, same place. I love you. And Drin will play us out just for a little moment. Love y'all.
Thank you.